Hey guys, long time no see. I'm gonna make a video similar to what Ben Awad did back in the day, and I think that my boy Nicolas from No Band Coders has also made a video like this before, but just a recap of software I used this year. So first of all, I have been developing an indie game in the Unity engine, and with that comes a little bit of Blender, and all of the programming that I've done for my game is through C#. I have a pretty complete progress thread. This is what the game looked like roughly a year ago, and right now it looks something like this. There's a lot more that goes into making a game than you'd expect. Like in this screenshot alone, right? I have these HUD elements. These HUD elements are built out of components like these. You can change the font for what their stock icons look like. You can change the picture that they have. The text has an animation when the player is hit. Here I have an input display for debug. These HUD elements animate in and out when new characters join the fight or when they die. That's just the UI. Then we have all of the states for getting hit. We have this world space canvas where we can draw nameplates over top of people. We have these effects, like when you get hit, we spawn particle effects. Everything is done in a rollback sense. I can save and restore save states so that I can do rollback netcode in the future. We have adventure mode stuff. You can see when you walk through this that the camera does a transition here too. Anyway, a lot of things that you would not expect to take a lot of time. When you add them all up, it does take a lot of time, right? Going from nothing to something, and if I had to do it all again, I could make this game way faster. I think that I could get what I got done in 12 months, I could probably get done in 4 or 5. That's just how it is. If you're interested in the game dev, you can scroll up this entire thread. There is a lot of incremental progress. For game dev and learning C#, GPT-4 has been insanely useful. You have probably heard this from other people that use it for things that they don't really know how to do. For example, too, when I was porting RuneScape from desktop to Android and I needed to convert a bunch of JOGL calls to LWJGL calls, when I would just paste in a code block and say, hey, can you convert this? It would do it with accuracy that was extremely good. And it would do it in a way that made sense. So if you are working with technologies that you don't understand and don't really care to understand, GPT-4 is really, really, really good. And it has helped me speed up my workflow in Unity by a lot too. You can just ask it questions, like not get it to write you code right away. Or when it does start writing code, you say, I don't like the way that you're doing that. Maybe let's do it another way. It's very useful for brainstorming, writing code, and just overall being an extremely handy tool. People on Twitter have said this a couple times, that it's getting worse, which I do think is true. The best experience that I've had with GPT-4 was probably in February through April of 2023 with the original release of GPT-4. That's the smartest that it's felt. Lots of the complaints of people saying that it's getting worse, they assume that it's learning from the inputs that people are giving it, which is not true. The P in GPT stands for pre-trained. It's not learning from the prompts of people. They'd need to retrain a new model with that data. So when it gets worse, we are getting a different model. It's not the same model getting worse. We are getting a different model. So throughout 2023, we've had a bunch of different GPT-4s. And I don't know when I really was complaining about it, but it got a lot worse. Yeah, in July, it was bad enough that I wanted to complain. But since then, I think it's gotten back too close to that level. When I was interacting with the original GPT-4, it felt like it was really smart. And right now, it doesn't feel like it's as smart as it was. But maybe that's just my perception of it. Maybe it is performing better. But as a user, the best time that I had with it was February, March, April of 2023. when I think that it was the smartest. And it also responded very slow. This is when you had the 25 messages per 3-hour limit, but they were very high quality. I've also used Midjourney. I don't have an active subscription to Midjourney right now. I think that once they switch from having to use Discord, that's going to be huge for them, because the Discord version is quite annoying. When you're prompting and making iterative changes, like you would in a shell, if you wanted to rerun the same command that you just did, you hit the up arrow on your computer and then it'll go back in your message history and you can like continue to cycle through like that. That would be really useful for prompting. Like you hit the up arrow and then that's your previous prompt, and then you can change 2 keywords. With Midjourney, it's not like that. You need to like go copy it and then paste it again and edit stuff. It is not good. So hopefully when they have their own app, they can put that stuff in, because they're relying on Discord integration is not great. But you've all seen Midjourney. Midjourney makes amazing stuff. For my game in particular, this is the original concept art for the character, and it looks fine to me. Like, yeah, you can tell that it's AI generated. What's this part doing over here, and the softness of the details. But overall, I really like the face and the cape. And then the 3D artists that I paid to do the conversion over to 3D, they did a great job. It's also been useful for textures and stuff. Here's the texture for Final Destination. I fed that in, and I got this, which is similar but different, right? Like, similar but different. So for game dev, GPT-4 and Midjourney, I would pay $150 for these together a month. And that would even be a bargain. Like, think of how much time GPT-4 could save me in a day. If I'm doing a task that it's very good at, GPT-4 can easily save me like 2 or 3 hours a day. 2 or 3 hours a day. And Midjourney, if I had to pay an artist to do concept art and textures and iterate on them every single time, they might be higher quality, but this is hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I've saved through Midjourney, and it's only getting better. So Midjourney and GPT-4, huge game changer for the world of game dev in particular. And everything else, GPT-4 is obviously good, and Midjourney doing other things than game dev. But for me and what my technology stack has been this year, GPT-4 and Midjourney have been super game changers. Then this cascader, I have barely used this, but if this is also pretty cool for game dev. This is AI-assisted inverse kinematics. Go watch their video, it's really cool. I'm hoping to use this a lot more. Then React, I'm a Vue.js fan. I watched that video on Evan You. If you haven't watched this by Honeypot, I recommend it. It's a good 34 minutes. You'll fall in love with good old Evan You. So when I learned my first framework, I used Vue.js. Vue is terrific. Vue takes care of everything for you. You update a value, it changes on the DOM. It's so nice. I used React to rewrite a Chrome extension that I have that gets this new page on Chrome. I don't like the silly little Google Doodle that they do. If you don't have this installed, we'll just disable it here. Oh God, they put the stupid Christmas lights up. Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. Much better. So that's what that does. This is called Minimal New Tab. I made this years ago, but it was built using just DOM manipulation. We can look at that. Script.js, it's not some gigantic impossible file to understand. This is just pure vanilla JS with DOM manipulation, right? I'm like doing div style visibility equals. But I do have these helper functions, which are basically just jQuery, right? Like you would say $$ something and it would do it by ID or by class or whatever. With vanilla JS, hey, no problem. But now we have it rewritten in React because I wanted to learn React. I hate React, and I hate it because Vue.js is just so much better and handles everything better. Anytime you want a value to be reactive, you have to use this use state hook. This is really stupid. In Vue, you just change the value and it works. Yeah, I hated this. You know, in an infomercial when they're like, there's got to be a better way. I can't. Why do I have to use this use state? There's got to be a better way. The better way is, it exists, it's called Vue.js, so stop using this and use Vue.js. You don't have to define these setters and getters. You can start to understand why there are so many JavaScript frameworks, because if you had to use this React stuff, I would probably go and write my own framework too, because this is just so bad. I don't like it, but I did learn it. So it was tech that I used this year. LWJGL, GLFW, and OpenGL. I did a Mac OS port. You guys know me, I'm always doing the RuneScape. After I did the LWJGL Android port, I now have the native Mac OS port as well. HD did not work on Mac OS for years, so now it works. However, I had to use LWJGL 2.9. LWJGL 3.0 has some threading restrictions. It's very annoying. In software like this, you can use an opinionated or unopinionated way of dealing with stuff. We built our own way to handle displays, which is what LWJGL 2.9 is. LWJGL 3.0 is a less opinionated way of doing things. So you can just launch a window and start drawing to it with 2.9. 3.0 you can't. macOS LWJGL 3.0 will not be happy if you're not drawing on the main thread, and the main thread is blocking. So there's definitely a way to do this with 3.0, but it was so annoying that I just downgraded to 2.9. If you want to learn more about this and listen to me say the acronym LWJGL 100 times, go watch the Android video. Then two other things that these were things that I kind of wanted to learn this year, Firebase and Supabase. These are database as a service platforms. I like Firebase a lot. Firebase is what I use to make playfilter.kr. It just has a mailing list sign up. So this just submits to the Firebase database, and then it saves your stuff in there. I really liked it. Good, simple, easy to use. You just throw the authentication stuff into your JavaScript, and then it can connect to your database and submit stuff. All the rules are already set up in a good way. I like it. For Supabase is okay. Like, them even using the name Supabase is a misnomer in my opinion, because it is not like Firebase. It is just Postgres with a bunch of fun tweaks added to it. Like Firebase versus Supabase. Firebase is a real-time database. Postgres is just a relational database that maybe you can like access really quickly. I don't know how their real-time stuff works. I'm assuming that it is total hack. I used Firebase first, and then I used Supabase after. And to me, they are very different products. And the thing that I hated most of all about Supabase, these motherfuckers will kill your instance if you don't have enough traffic. Like, I don't want to have to babysit my website to make sure that, oh, sorry, somebody didn't log in for a month because I'm not cool. Oh, I guess that means you should kill my app. No, fuck that. Don't kill my app. What the hell? So I made this website, RCL2. This is an app that I originally made in 2015 or something, but now you do login and stuff. It all works through Supabase. I had to do this. Supabase sucks ass. Don't kill my instance, losers. Because they said if you didn't access the database for 2 weeks, they'd fucking kill your app. This is bullshit. I'll tell you who's not gonna kill your app if it goes inactive. That's Google. They're only gonna kill their own apps. If you're gonna use Supabase, private host it immediately. Don't use their public infrastructure. Oh, that's the great thing, is you're not locked into the vendor. Yeah, it's gonna take you like 3 days to migrate over to your own server though, if you want to start self-hosting, right? So it's gonna be a big pain in the ass. So I still had a good time developing with it though. If they weren't gonna kill my app and they marketed it as not like a Firebase alternative, which it is not, you wouldn't choose one or the other for the same application. Their documentation is good. The community around it is pretty good. There's like good Vue libraries for login stuff. I like all of that, but it is not a Firebase like direct alternative. They do similar things, but they're very different. So if you're gonna use Supabase, self-host immediately would be my recommendation. And that's the tech that I used this year in 2023. Thanks for watching, guys. Follow the development of my game. Go wishlist it on Steam. You can find that link on the top of my Twitter or at playfilter.kr.